we didn't get to examine all of the topics that I had planned for us, but I'm sure that we can continue part 2 of this discussion at a later time, provided that you guys are all available. This was certainly a very enriching discussion. Surely members of the audience learned a lot from meeting members, some of our stars in the media fraternity. So thank you once again for participating in the discussion.
Thank you for having us.
And to our viewers and our listeners, as usual, it's a pleasure having you part of our weekly discourse on Guyana's Oil and You. Please continue to be safe and do have a wonderful evening. Good night, guys.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Good day, welcome to your main newscast for Friday, April 29th, 2022. I'm Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. The ambitious gas-to-energy project that is slated for Region 3 community of Wales is being touted as one of the single most transformative projects that Guyana has embarked on so far. This project has the potential to provide significant benefits to Guyanese. The country's major problem when it comes to business in particular has always been the cost of power generation and its reliability. So said Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat. However, despite this flowery vision of success and development, the Natural Resources Minister is yet to submit any updated information that promotes the 21-plus kilometer gas-to-energy project as being right for Guyana. Just after divulging his support for the rising $1.3 billion project cost, Minister Bharat was asked by reporters whether citizens could expect an updated feasibility study that would address the concerns of those unconvinced sectors of society. To this, he responded, and I quote, "Sometimes we have to look at the benefits of projects too." The minister's deflection from the question comes in spite of calls from civil society groups, opposition members, sections of the media, and dozens of regional and international experts warning Guyana to be prudent in its bid to move forward with the contentious gas-to-energy project. And in other news, with Labor Day celebrations just days away, trade unions are already urging their members to play a greater role in securing their share of the country's new oil wealth, and they criticized this year's $552.9 billion budget, deeming it anti-working class. The union said too that the continuous pattern of government disregarding the collective is a source of great concern as they prepare to commemorate Labor Day. Veteran trade unionist Norris Witter of the General Workers Union said that while the strength of the labor union is dependent on that of its membership, participation of these persons will have to increase to draw the government's attention. Witter added that for various reasons, trade unions in recent times have not been receiving the type of responses they would have hoped for from their membership. And moving on, the mutilated body of a Venezuelan woman was on Tuesday found by her common-law husband and a search party, buried in a shallow grave at Koro Bakdam, Eringbang, Region 7. She was identified as 49-year-old Daisy Anturi Perdomo. Police are now hunting two Venezuelan men said to be her camp partners. According to police, they were the last persons to be seen with the woman before her body was found. Anturi had recently entered Korobak Dam with her husband and the two men to punt for gold. They camped together, and on Friday, April 22nd, her husband had traveled out of the Bak Dam and headed to Venezuela, leaving her there with the two men. On Tuesday, April 26th, her husband returned from Venezuela to find an empty camp and reportedly began inquiring about her whereabouts. A search party was formed and they stumbled upon her body buried in a shallow grave. The woman's husband is presently in police custody, assisting with investigations. And in other news, Guyana's former finance minister Winston Jordan was on Thursday arrested by SOCU ranks for the alleged illegal land deals made with private investors. for prime state lands located in Ogle on the east coast of Demerara. The land transaction reportedly took place when Jordan was in office under the APNU-AFC coalition administration. Confirming Jordan's recent arrest was Soku's boss, Senior Police Superintendent Fazil Karimbach. He said his investigating ranks had detained Jordan for questioning in relation to the land sale that took place after December 21, 2018, following a no-confidence vote against his government. He has since been released on his own self-recognizance as the investigation continues. And I'll just tell you, since the ban on styrofoam in Guyana some 7 years ago, the Georgetown municipality has been grappling with a host of environmental issues when it comes to the disposal of single-use plastic. Head of the Solid Waste Department at the Mayor and City Council, Walter Narine, explained that the use of plastic has a very dire effect on the work of the council. According to Narine, plastic makes up about 6.7% of the garbage that is collected from the drains, canals, and road corners of the city every day. Narine noted that plastic has found a way to create a similar problem to the city had with styrofoam years ago. According to Narine, the council expends close to $18 million every month clearing garbage piles and dumps across the city. The solid waste director noted further that there has been much talk about banning single-use plastics by the Environmental Protection Agency, but it is yet to materialize. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is your news at noon. We will resume after the break.
Nothing in life is free, but the MyDigiCell app is. You don't need to be on a data plan to use the app. You can conveniently chat with Ruby or an agent for help. Check your account balance, activate a Prime bundle, or gift it to a friend. Send credit. Check the Georgetown and Burpees Bridge schedules. Activate a roaming plan. Play Shake to Win for cool prizes. So don't worry about a data plan, buddy. Download the MyDigiCell app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store today. Digicel, better together.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. 16 health centers in Region 7 have been identified for an upgrade this year to the tune of $100 million. 16. This is according to Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony. Anthony's announcement comes following several visits he made to the region earlier this week. As was reported in this year's budget, the Health Ministry was allocated approximately $73.2 billion. Out of that sum, of $1 billion has been allocated for the upgrading of health centers across all regions, which would address critical interventions needed to improve patient experience. This year also, the Bartica Regional Hospital is slated to be upgraded. Minister Anthony explained that the upgrades of the health centers will include developing waiting areas or enlarging the waiting space for patients in those facilities. Meanwhile, recent data from the Caribbean has suggested that there have been increases in the number of migrants being smuggled around the region. To address these changing and concerning trends, the International Organization for Migration, in collaboration with the CARICOM Implementing Agency for Crime and Security, hosted a one-of-a-kind meeting on drafting legislation to counter migrant smuggling in the region that can respond to regional and national needs. The two-day meeting between the 26th and 27th of April was hosted in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago, with an impressive 25 Caribbean government officials in attendance. Representatives included officials from Immigration and Customs departments and attorneys' general offices, as both have vital roles in drafting legislation of this type. In other news, GPL has blamed Thursday's hours-long blackout on a fault at its Garden of Eden plant. GPL said at approximately 7 hours 52 on Thursday, a fault at its Garden of Eden power plant resulted in a loss of approximately 37 megawatts of generation. The sudden loss of generation caused a cascading effect on the grid that resulted in a shutdown of the Demerara-Berbice interconnected system. According to GPL, restoration commenced immediately, and at approximately 8 hours 30, the first area in Demerara was repowered. Incremental restoration continued. All areas in Demerara and Berbice were repowered at approximately 9 hours 56. And moving on, another libel suit has been brought against former Assistant Commissioner of Police and Chairman of the Police Service Commission, Paul Slow. This time, the lawsuit is filed by Senior Superintendent of Police Calvin Brutus. Brutus is claiming $70 million in damages for words allegedly uttered by Slow during a social media broadcast. The former PSC chairman is already facing a $70 million lawsuit for libel, which was filed by head of SOCU Fazil Karim Baksh. Similar to the lawsuit filed by the SOCU head, Brutus is contending Slow created a social media program that is broadcast on Facebook and YouTube titled Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Slow was in October of 2021 granted bail when he appeared before Magistrate Shirtle Isaacs Marcus at the Georgetown Magistrates Court on charges related to fraud and sexual assault. And now let's tell you, a 14-year-old boy is hospitalized at the Georgetown Public Hospital after he crashed a car on the Firish Public Road Wednesday night. Injured is Kyrie Anderson of number 1 Public Road, Quarantine Berbice, who underwent surgery at the Georgetown Public Hospital yesterday. We were informed that the accident occurred at about 23 hours 10. The second vehicle involved in the accident was driven by 25-year-old Surendranath Gopal. Reports are that the unlicensed teenage driver was proceeding west on the southern drive lane of the Firish Public Road ahead of Gopal. Gopal collided with the rear of the car the teen was in, causing the child to lose control and crash into a lantern post situated on the southern grass parapet. The teenager was taken out of the vehicle in an unconscious condition. Surendranath Gopal's blood alcohol level was above the legal limit. He is currently in police custody and investigations are ongoing. And finally, let's tell you that the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation is currently investigating reports of an alleged rape of a female patient there. This is according to the GPHC's Strategic Planning and Communications Manager, Chalana Providence. Reports on a Facebook page had surfaced on Thursday alleging that a female patient was raped while recovering from a surgery. Claims were made that the patient was raped while in a sedated state. After reportedly regaining consciousness, she noticed signs of sexual activity and alerted hospital authorities. And now we wrap things up with the page 7 of today's Kaieteur News. Crime and our leaders. Gun crimes have become a staple in our society. Much like these criminals, some of our leaders are daily robbing this nation of its patrimony just so they can continue to fatten their already overflowing purses. When really will Guyana be rid of criminals at every conceivable level? The answer is simple. When Guyanese decide to start fighting back and demand an end to wholesale thievery. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or